Fix old cameras. Your successful completion of the demonstrated repair ultimately depends on the quality of your tools, the condition of your camera, and most importantly, your repair ability.
This one's a bit sluggish and raggedy. Turn the half-moon lock screw a half a turn. This will allow you to spin off the retaining ring. With the retaining ring removed, the speed cam plate assembly will lift free of the housing. The escapement is now visible and is held in place by 2 screws. It is also partially blocked by the cocking lever and by a cam following lever. They will also have to be dealt with. The cam following lever will need to be removed and the cocking lever folded back out of the way. Escapement out of the body housing, look for the spacers that could easily be lost. With the escapement removed, it will need to be cleaned, and there will be several points after cleaning that the escapement will need to be lubricated. Ideally, the escapement should be placed in an ultrasonic cleaner before lubricating. If you can't do that, at least flush it thoroughly with alcohol. Once thoroughly flushed, cleaned, spot lubricate with only a small drop of oil on the rotating points of the bearings on the gear pallets and gear. Very light oil will need to be used, such as sewing machine oil or actual shutter oil. Nye oil is a good choice. Flip it over and lubricate the other side also. Always use the smallest drop possible. A little oil goes a long ways. With the escapement completely lubricated, work the lubrication into its points by manipulating the escapement again. Once the escapement has achieved silky smooth operation, it's time to reinstall the escapement into the lens housing. Position the shims in place and then position the escapement. Align the holes and align the levers against the followers. You might have to manipulate it a little bit to get it to seat so that the screw holes line up, but ultimately it shouldn't take too much jockeying. The most difficult piece is the cam following lever that crosses the top of the escapement. Now you're going to watch this struggle trying to get this screw in. It doesn't want to cooperate, and stubbornly, the tweezers are not going to be given up for another tool that might work better. See, if you put the screw through a piece of paper and then seat the screw going through the sheet of paper will hold in position and then allow you to start the screw without losing it. But stubbornly, that's not done here. Patience, determination eventually pays off. More patience, more determination, and finally, success. There it is. All right. But the cam follower is on the wrong side of how it's supposed to engage to the escapement gear pallet. It needs to engage the center of the fork, not the outside. So it will need to be redone. Just loosen it enough so that the following lever can be lifted up to clear the edge of the fork and to seat. Don't force it, just nudge it into position. Obviously, upon reassembly, if you run into this issue, and you have to go back and back up a couple steps and redo it to make it go together properly, so be it. But don't forget to tighten the screw. Now, with it in proper position, the speed cam plate can be installed. Make sure it's installed so the cam followers and the detent are positioned in the correct proximity of where they need to follow. You can see the detent click, and the cams are all seated and completely, and the shutter is working very smoothly. Note the swaging on the speed cam. This process is used to bring in the speeds to the proper calibration. If you're interested in this process, there is a short fixed old camera video that briefly covers. That shutter sounds good. Probably sounded like that when it came right out of the box brand new. Well, enough of that. Let's move on. With the speed cam plate properly positioned, put the cover plate on it and position it on the little post so that the numbers line up properly. Then put in the retaining ring. You can usually start that by keeping even pressure around the ring so that you don't accidentally cross thread that, because that would be a disaster. And once it's threaded properly, if it doesn't thread on easily, then back it up a little bit until the threads bite and it comes on. So you just snug it down, and once it's snugged down, the half moon lock screw gets turned to half a degree, well, not a half a degree, a half a turn, and then again check out that everything runs smoothly, and of course it will. Perfect.
Thank you for watching. Inspired? Check back for new video postings.